And again, it's because the character takes me somewhere, and then I have to go back and say, well, if that's where we're going, I need to fix this back in chapter 7 because, you're taking me someplace totally different. But it's fun. And as long as it's character driven, see, because, I'm so, yes, plot is very important. I mean, it is a suspense book. It is a page turning, something is always happening, something is always going wrong kind of a book. But it's all about the people. It's the characters are very full. All the bad guys are human, so you don't really know if they're the true bad guys because they have this good side too. Like even my worst villain, the one I'm writing now, Billy is a bad guy, but he loves his daughter. He loves his daughter, and he's such a good dad. But he's like this evil person, So I try to make all my characters be no one's all good, all bad. So that's why you don't really know who's doing what.
Everybody, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter. It's the author podcast. We get to meet amazing people from around the world, hear their author journey, pick up on some tips and some ideas for us as authors and for readers. Fall in love with your next favorite author and fill up your bookcase full of great books. Karen Osborne's here on the show today. She's got lots of stuff. You go to her website, we'll have links for you in the show note. There's a lot of good stuff for you here. You're going to fall in love with this person. She is amazing. Karen, welcome to the podcast. Glad to have you on Living the Next Chapter.
Thank you so much for having me, Dave. It's great seeing you again.
Come on, all right? Everybody's like, what do you mean? It's great seeing you again. We get to chat ahead of time and we get to plan this out for everybody. We're not winging it, everyone. We've actually put some effort into this, and I'm super excited to have Karen back. Karen, let everybody know, first off the top, where you are in this great big world of ours.
So I'm from New York, but we live in Port Saint Lucie, Florida, which is on the East Coast, just north of Lake Jupiter.
I've heard of Jupiter, but I thought that was more like a planet, but that's amazing too. It's in Florida? Jupiter, Florida? Okay. No relation, right?
Yeah. Maybe West Palm Beach would be a better marker. Okay. So we're about 45 minutes from West Palm Beach.
It's good. Karen, for you as an author, I love to leverage the experience and the knowledge of my guest authors on the show because as listeners, I have authors who listen to the show. They come here looking for inspiration from somebody who's further down the path than they are. Maybe they're just starting out as a new author. And I want to encourage them and help them to see past all of the roadblocks that seem to be in their way as a new author starting out. You know things that to you've learned along the way. So I'd love to kind of lean on you and pull out some information that you could use, that the author listening could use. Do you have any suggestions that we can help an author listening to the podcast?
So my first suggestion is authors write. Writers write. So if that is who you are, this is what you want, just writing in your head is not enough. It means that you have to write. My son, who is a gifted writer, he writes short stories, literary short stories, and he's got a full life, family and big job. He runs a company, but he makes sure he writes at least 15 minutes a day. And you'd be amazed at what you can accomplish. Now, some days it's longer. Some days he has more time and he writes longer, but it's never less than 15 minutes. And the amount that you can accomplish just by committing yourself to writing. So my first is writers write. I have 3. Is that all right, Dave?
Oh, yeah, let's go. Come on.
Okay. And my second one is study your craft. When I wrote my first book, I had taken a lot of classes. I really had. But I still knew nothing. He wrote my first novel, and it was a mess. It was just a hot mess. Study your craft. That is so important. Study it by reading whatever genre that you're writing in, read in other genres, go to workshops, join a writer's group, learn your craft. And that's like forever. That's, you're always learning, always learning. And then the last one I have, which I think is I've hinted at, and that is find your tribe. Find your tribe. Be part of a writing community because it's such a supportive community. And when you find people who are, no matter where they are in the process, supporting each other, helping each other, tips. I tried this. I'm trying to get an agent. Here's what I did. Just having a group of writer friends who can help you on this journey and support you on this journey. Those are three things that have helped me enormously.
Any suggestions for an author on where to look to find that kind of community, like online, in person? Any suggestions there?
Book clubs are great, great, great places. Your library is a great place. You can. How do I find my writer friends? I found a lot of them with recommendation too, and that is study your craft. Because I have friends, they live in Australia, and we have been writing together for, I don't know, 20 years online. But I met them in an online workshop, and we liked each other's style and each other's writing. And we then got in touch after the class. And for years, we never even met. We did get to meet. I've seen them at least twice now, going to Australia. And so that's another thing. It can be international. It can be your writers don't have to be people that you have coffee with, which is nice. I like that. I have two local writer friends, and we have coffee. But it is also fine that, my Australia friends, we Zoom, we're very much in each other's writing life.
Writing words in a book has brought you to another part of the world and meeting people you would never have met had you not been an author and been a writer. That's
exactly right.
That's amazing. So don't do it alone, is what you're saying.
Yeah, don't do it alone.
No.
It is kind of a singular. It means you and the computer, or you and that pad of paper, So it's just the two of you. But when you have support around you, just on Thursday, what today is Thursday, right? Yesterday, yeah, it's yesterday. Two writer friends, one that lives on the other side of Florida, and one that lives south of me. And we got together at not quite a midpoint place and just laughed and talked and shared and supported each other. And I just interviewed both of them on my podcast. We made a reel while we were sitting there. And since of this, Dave, one of the things that I learned is that if you are a published writer, you should say that out loud wherever you are.
Right.
So we asked the one lovely wait person to take a picture of us, and she said, "Oh, are you guys visitors?" And Linda said, "No, we are three published authors getting together to enjoy each other's company and help each other." And there was a guy sitting right over there. Yeah. And came over and said, "Oh, my wife she's like a reading crazy person to meet authors." And so there we were, and she belongs to two book clubs. And
nice.
So you never know. You never know.
Yeah. I have as a podcaster like you, I have a shirt that I wear out in public, and it says on the back, "You are now following a podcaster." Because we always ask people to follow us, right? And so when people are standing in line behind me at the store, they're reading my shirt, they smile, they tap me on the back. They're like, Oh, I see what you're doing there. I see. You got me to follow you, right? Yeah, please follow the show, right? Yeah. So that's kind of my little trick to get people to smile. Again, they're asking you, like, what's your podcast about? So I'm like, great authors like Karen Osborne. That's what my podcast is
It's
about,
so clever,
right?
Dave. I
Right?
have to try that
See?
one.
There you go. So you've already piqued people's curiosity as listeners because they're listening to podcasts about authors. Karen, tell them everybody about your show as well. Let's plug right here at the beginning. Why not, right?
So it's called What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? And we talk about, I interview creatives, mostly authors, but I've also interviewed a musician and a painter. And so then they tell us about their writing journey. They tell us about their books. They tell us about what they've learned over the course of their writing life. And then they talk about books that they've read, books that have had an impact on them, and then anything recently that they've read. So it's both book recommendations that are not theirs, and it is
Hmm.
also finding out about that author. And
Nice.
it's 5 years, 5 years old, over 300 episodes. I think
Okay.
329 just aired today. And it won an award. It won the Podcast of the Year, 2026 Podcast Author Interview Podcast of the Year from
Wow.
American Writer Award. Anyway, I
You
put it
got
up
it.
on my website. Thank you, thank you.
There you go. Congratulations. That's amazing. Wow. I've always loved talking to another podcaster. That you just got me really nerdy there. So, but yeah, congratulations on the show. That's amazing for that long to be out there podcasting. Isn't it great the people you get to meet through podcasting?
That's the best part. Of course,
Right.
you are a crazy man and you have
Well,
so many
too
podcasts.
too
You
many,
are,
too many. Yeah, no,
you are like, when I met you, it was like, oh my goodness, I'm such a slacker. And
no,
yes,
yeah,
you get to meet amazing, amazing people. And I end up with friends.
right,
I end up with, not everybody clicks that way, but many times you meet somebody and the personalities just click. And now you have
yeah,
one more person as part of your writing community.
right. Now this is not my other show. One of my other shows, the How to Podcast series, where I talk podcasting. But one thing I do suggest to anybody that hosts a podcast that interviews guests is to treat your guest as a listener, not as a guest. Because if you treat your guest as a listener, I think you talk a little differently to somebody who's a listener and a community member of your show than a person you just met and you're going to have a conversation with, right?
I
Think of
like
them as
that.
a listener, right?
I
How would
like
you
that a
talk to a
lot.
listener, right? And because for the most part, most guests are going to check out your show anyway. So there's a potential they will become a listener of the show. So treat them like a listener, not a guest. So there's a little bonus tip for everybody.
Like,
Okay. I won't charge you for that, Karen. I won't charge you.
okay,
That's
good.
great.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So let's talk. Thank you for all the great advice for authors. I think that's amazing. We'll make sure you have all those three main points in the show notes for everybody and links to your podcast as well to go listen. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's switch gears over to the readers because you have a lot. I'm on your website right now. It's up on my screen while we're chatting. There's a lot of great stuff here for readers. Can you give us a little bit of your background as an author in respect to the readers and kind of who you're trying to reach? Who is your target audience? Who are you envisioning as your ideal reader? Can you kind of give us a kind of a look at what you've done in the past before we talk about your newest project?
Yes. So I write what I enjoy reading.
Good.
So and I write first of all to um, honor the characters that insist that I tell their story. So these characters start talking to me in my head, and I joke about being a distracted driver. I have to pull over, and whip out my pen and my pencil. So before getting back on the road, because these people are talking to me, and I've never written like I see sometimes some things are advertised like, this is hot. this genre is hot right now. And if you want to, get published, this is the genre you should, write in. I've never done that. I write what I enjoy. I write what my characters tell me they want, the story they want to tell me. I think of them all as my book babies, and I love all my characters so much. So my audience in the beginning were the people that I knew in my professional life prior to writing. I knew I was very well known in my small world. So, people would stop me in hotels and people would, stop me in elevators. You Karen Osborne. So I was well known there. And that allowed me in the beginning to say, oh, I'd love to come and do a workshop for you, of course. And I'm wondering, may I bring my newest novel with me? Would that be okay? It has nothing to do with the topic of the time because I teach philanthropy and board development and management leadership. And I say, but I do have this fiction novel. And so in the beginning, it was friends, it was colleagues, it was clients who bought my books. Then it expanded, and I write suspense, and I write. There's always some romance. It's not a romance novel, but I always make sure that there is love and canoodling in all my books. and and I write. I try to lift social issues, things that are important to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my audience is whoever loves all of that. Mostly, I think women buy my books.
Okay.
Mostly,
Yeah.
but lots and lots and lots of men have told me how much they enjoyed them.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, I'm scrolling through your books on your website while we're chatting. So True Grace, Reckonings, Tangled Lies, Getting It Right. Out of these books here that you have listed on your website that I'm scrolling through, is there one that you would say for a new listener, or that's a new reader coming to you as a listener, and this maybe like their first introduction to you as an author, that you'd say, I think this would be a good starting point for you as a new reader? Any one of those stand out?
Yeah. So because I write in so many genres,
Yeah.
it would depend. What I would say
Okay.
to somebody is, "What do you like to read?" So True Grace, which I love True Grace. It was inspired by my grandma, and it's historical fiction. And it was my first time doing historical fiction. I always avoided it because I don't like research. I just like making things up. I had to do research, and so True Grace is a powerful story. If you like historical fiction, and you're okay crying, then
You're, you're
True
okay crying.
Grace is a terrific book
Okay.
for you. And if you like unlikely romance, because there's that in there too.
Okay.
But if you like murder mysteries, then Tangled Lies was my first murder mystery. And I write multi-generational, multicultural, multiracial books.
Yeah.
So Tangled Lies is a really good murder mystery with two unlikely sleuths, a 70-year-old black woman, and a 25-year-old white woman who didn't know each other, and they come together in a very exciting way to solve this murder. So that's a murder mystery. And then, are you a middle child, Dave?
I am the oldest of
You're
two.
the
I have a younger sister. Yeah.
So middle children, you middle children out there, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. It is so hard. Everybody is like so excited about the newest and
Right.
right, the
Yeah.
baby and the oldest. So Reckonings is my middle book baby. And she just doesn't get the love that
Come
she
on,
deserves.
everybody. Come on,
You're like,
everybody.
come on. Let's wait. And Reckonings is a family drama,
Okay.
and again, lots of suspense, short chapters. And Roxy is one of my favorite protagonists. Although I must say that when I was writing her, she would make me so angry. I would be
Really?
writing, and I'd think, really, Roxy? Really? You have to, come on. You need to. Nope, she's still making mistakes. Her best friend Dallas is always saying to her, Rox, come on. Yes, it's Dallas.
Hmm. You created this character and you're wrestling with them at the same time.
Yes, because she is so stubborn. She needed to okay, this is not working. I need to shift gears. But she's very lovable. So even though I get annoyed with her, I really rooted for her. I wanted her to heal and to find success and to be happy. She's married to a wonderful man. She's got a wonderful family, but she's 36 and she feels old,
Yeah. Hmm.
kind of beat down.
Yeah.
And I think that's why she makes so many bad choices.
Interesting. So what about getting it right as well?
So getting it right, this is interesting because my new book that's coming out in October is actually a reimagined, rewritten version of Getting It Right.
Oh.
It was my very first book. The first time these two women, Alex and Kara, started talking to me. My very first foray into writing long fiction, and then this year a sequel came to me.
Oh.
So I started writing a sequel, but I couldn't write the sequel without getting the first one to catch up. Because that one was written came out in 2017. So the world has changed.
Yeah.
And then I needed certain clues and things to be in. So I totally started from scratch and reimagined and rewrote Getting It Right. And it's coming out October 15th as a psychological thriller.
Wow. Now, I haven't had authors talk about rewriting past work like this before. Is this common? Do you know the other authors that do this as well? No.
Very common.
Oh.
Yeah. But I had such a good time. And my publisher was cool with it.
Okay.
I think he encouraged me because he wasn't the publisher of Getting It Right. I had a different publisher.
Yeah.
And he said, Karen, I don't want to publish a sequel if I don't own the first book. He said, we need them to come out as partners.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay. And so I got my very wonderful first publisher gave me the rights to my book. I stayed in touch with him. We had a good relationship.
Good.
He said, sure, Karen, all I ask is that you acknowledge that we published it first, on the publication page. So he was very sweet. Johnny Temple, Acacia Books. And so then he gave me my rights, and I had my original manuscript. And I thought, well, this won't do for the way I'm thinking about this sequel, So I just started all over again.
Wow.
I had a blast.
That's amazing. Okay.
I added
That's right.
characters.
Okay. You change the story too? Or the story remains?
It's a fundamental story, but I added new characters, new troubles, new new thriller things, and I changed the ending.
Okay. And little updates maybe to what's happening in 2026 compared to 2017?
And I totally updated it because the sequel happens 8 months after.
Okay.
And that came out in 2017. So I had to just bring it all up to date.
Yeah, a few things have happened in the world since 2017. Yeah. Okay. All right. So when does that one come out again?
October 15th.
October 15th.
Getting It Right by Karen E Osborne, a psychological thriller.
Awesome. All right. Well, there's lots. There's lots here for people, no matter what you love to read. And what I find, too, even though when authors write in different genres, is that people love the author. And they're willing to take a chance on maybe a genre they don't usually read, but they love their favorite author, and they're like, I'll take a chance. And then they find out that they might love historical fiction where they never have read that before, right? And they're like, oh, now I'm in. So good job. I like that.
And all my books, we haven't talked about Justice for Emerson, which I would like to
Yeah.
talk about.
Yes, for sure.
But all my books, what's the common thread are they are strong, flawed, relatable women who have to overcome great odds. That's the common thread through all of the books, even though the women are all very different ages, very different backgrounds, but they're all pretty strong women.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Speaking of Justice for Emerson, what a striking cover. Oh my gosh. It's gorgeous. Like what? Tell me more about the cover and how this all developed because it's beautiful.
Yeah, thank
And of course,
you.
it's right there behind you. There you go. It's
Here she
gorgeous.
is.
Yeah. Oh, it's really
This
nice.
is Aria. Aria is 50 years old and she's a widow. And her husband died really, died 2 years before. They have a son who's a freshman in college. She lives in New York. Everybody lives in New York in my books. She lives in New York and he goes to Cornell University, her son. And she comes and she's worried. She runs a not-for-profit that helps the unhoused and marginalized. And, so she's just a good person. She comes from a wonderful home. She has loving parents, well-educated woman. And she comes to work in the beginning of the book, and she finds a beloved volunteer, Cal Emerson. 77-year-old Vietnam vet murdered in the basement. And the murderer sees her, and she sees the murderer. And so the present day timeline is how Aria, and there's a police detective involved, and there is her love interest involved, except that he's not right for her because he's too tall. She's only 5'2", and she has a chip on her shoulder about being short. He's 6'2". She can't even imagine how people with a whole foot difference could possibly make love. She can't picture it. He's too young.
Yeah.
She's 50 and he's 40. Well, he's too young. Their experiences are so different. He's too rich. He's a volunteer and a donor to the not-for-profit. What will the paper say? CEO canoodling with donor. She could see the headline. And he's too white because she's black and
Right.
he's white. And it's too soon because Ben has only been dead for 2 years. So even though she has these stirrings and Jax is all in. I mean, Jax has fallen in love with this woman, but she, it can't work. So that's the present day. But then we meet Cal Emerson, the dead guy, back in 1968, when he is on his way to Vietnam on the day that Martin Luther King was assassinated. And it tells the story of what it was like back then. And lots of characters that he met, and he ended up being addicted, and lots of bad things that happened to Vietnam vets. There's so much that happened because back in those days, Vietnam was such an unpopular war, and
Right.
so people weren't treated as heroes; they were treated as murderers, and so all that Cal had to overcome. But at heart, he's a good man, and he made a lot of mistakes, and then by the time Aria met him, he was sober and clean and living a righteous life. But maybe the murder of him today had something to do with what happened back then. Or maybe the murder today has something to do with what's going on with the not-for-profit. Because Aria says something is not right. She's concerned about the finances. It seems like something. So we don't know. We don't know. And I was three-quarters of the way through the manuscript. My husband was reading it with me because he's a Vietnam vet. And he's the same age as Cal Emerson, but none
Okay.
of those things happened to him.
No.
He came back stronger and better. but he was reading it and he says, Karen, this is so good. I'm three-quarters of the way finished and I can't figure out like who the murderer is. And I said, oh, I can't know who it is either. And he said, what? See, like, the murderer has not revealed himself to me yet. I don't get it.
Wait. Okay, you're the author of the book and you don't know three-quarters of the way through. Really?
He didn't reveal
Wow.
himself.
Okay, wait. Okay. I'm not an author, Karen, so you got me here. I don't understand this. How do you not have some inkling of where the story is going? And like, how is this developing for you as you write? Can you give me, what is your magic thing behind the scenes that makes this all work? How does this work?
I know. I'm not a planner.
Yeah.
In my professional life before I was Miss Strategic Plan, and you have to have a plan and you have to know exactly what's going. Karen, the author, is just she is just writing and writing, and then another character will come to my mind, and I think, oh, maybe that's the one who's going to kill him. And so we're writing, but then here's this person, and this person is involved, and maybe it's the person that's going to kill him.
Wow.
It's magic.
That's incredible. It's incredible. Because I've met a lot of authors through the show, and you've met a lot of creative people as well. Many of them will tell me that they start with the end in mind. Like they have the conclusion, they have the finish line, and they kind of reverse engineer it back to the beginning of the story so it all makes sense. Do you find as a writer that you kind of wander a little bit into places and you have to kind of come back to the story, or does it?
Yes. So I
Okay.
do I do find myself, and again, it's because the character takes me somewhere,
Yeah.
and then I have to go back and say, well, if that's where we're going, I need to fix this back in chapter 7 because,
Yeah.
you're taking me someplace totally different. Uh, but but it's fun. And as long
Yeah.
as it's character driven, see, because
Right.
I'm so yes, plot is very important. I mean, it is a suspense book. It is a page turning, something is always happening, something is always going wrong kind of a book. But it's all about the people. It's the characters are very full. All the bad guys are human, so you don't really know if they're the true bad guys because they have this good side too. Like even my worst villain, the one I'm writing now, Billy is a bad guy, but he loves his daughter. He
Hmm.
loves his daughter, and he's
Right.
such a good dad. But he's like this evil
Hmm. Right.
person. So I try to make all my characters be no one's all good, all bad. So that's why you don't really know who's doing what because
Yeah, I had an author talk about the fact that, and some authors will use this kind of approach where they'll have a really terrible character that people just cannot stand, but then they go do something nice, like save a cat, or it's like, okay, well, I'm a cat lover now. Now what am I going to do with this? Because I hated this person up to that point. Now I respect them for now I'm torn. I don't know what to do. Like, do I still hate them? Do I like them now? Are we friends? I don't know what to do with this because they did something nice out of the blue, and I just, as a reader, I don't know what to do with that character now.
I know it's because that's who humans are.
Right.
It's 100% purely evil person is a rare human being.
Mm.
Most of us are complex and we're complicated, and so I make sure that my protagonists are also not perfect. They're flawed characters. They have things like my Roxy that annoys me. They have have other, another side to them. Like, and with Aria, like, Jax is crazy about you, woman. Get over yourself. Look how much he loves you. No, no, he's not right for me. He's not right for me. But everybody is human. Everybody has good and evil. Everybody has a past. I don't tell. Right before we were coming on today, um, my husband and I, with my church family, we feed the unhoused and the hungry every weekend.
Mm.
And so and we give them a hot meal, and then we give them a takeaway bag with a sandwich and water and fruit, and so they have and it has to be a sandwich that's not going to spoil because they don't have refrigeration or
Yeah.
anything. So it's peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
And right before you, I was making the sandwiches. The whole time I was talking to my character,
Mm.
so because making the sandwiches is kind of, it
Yeah.
doesn't take a lot of thought.
Yeah.
And so there's no music playing. I'm not listening to a story. I'm not watching TV because the character is talking to me and I got some things wrong about her. And
Mm.
she corrected that.
I love getting vision into the creative process and the mind of an author. Like it's fascinating to hear authors talk about their characters as if they're like actually in the room with you, like right there with you, and you're having a full on conversation with them. And when a character leads the author in the story, and you're just trying to keep up. But wait, let me write this down as quick as possible. Now now we're going this. Oh, we're going to go here. Now we're going to meet this person. Wow! Like wait, slow down, right? I love that
Exactly.
kind of interaction between a
It's
character
like I
and
had Fern's age wrong. I had her, I was visualizing her young. But today, while I was making those sandwiches, I said, no, oh my goodness, look at the gray hair you have. Where did that come from? You're 45.
wow.
So I had to, characters take you. I had a character, listen to this, Dave. I had a character who I had being middle class, from a middle class family, and she was going off to college, and she gives up her children. She gives up her babies. And I thought, well, why wouldn't your mother take them? Why wouldn't an auntie take them? You're a middle class. And she said, because I'm poor, Karen. I'm poor. I don't have a job. My mother is poor. What are you talking about? I'm not going to college. Look at me.
Wow.
That
Wow. Okay, so from
still
Justice
reminder.
for yeah, okay, from Justice for Emerson, pick a character from the book. It could be one of your main characters, one of your characters that kind of comes in and goes. But one of the characters that if you were to meet them in real life, you'd be nervous to meet them, like butterflies in your stomach. Like they're going to walk, the door opens, here they come, and you're just like, I can't believe I'm going to meet this person. What character is it, and what would make you nervous to meet them?
So Wally has a serious problem.
Okay.
He is a finance guy, and it looks like he's involved in something shady. He's the CFO of the way station of Area's not for profit, but he has a physical reaction to stress. I
Mm.
mean, a physical reaction to stress. But I would be around Wally
Mm.
when he is stressed. He would make me very, very. I wouldn't invite him home. I would. I wouldn't want to just, when my my pastor was reading Justice for Emerson, and she calls me up literally. She calls up and she says, "Mother Karen, why you do that to Wally? Oh my gosh! Oh, this to read this to my mother." Just little teaser. Wally and Wally's physical problems are quite extraordinary. I had another friend who I don't really know him. He's a reader, and he's been in touch, right? But we don't like know each other.
Yeah.
And he puts on, and we follow each other on LinkedIn. So he puts on LinkedIn. He says, "Karen, about three-quarters of the way through the book, no, about halfway through the book. And if you do something to Jax, if you do anything to my man Jax, I'm gonna just be so upset with you." And the next day, he says, "I just landed." He was on a plane ride. "I just landed." He said, "And now I'm in the car and I'm reading and oh my goodness, Jax made it. But poor Wally." So he wrote this running commentary to me on LinkedIn as he was reading the book. And you know what that said to me, Dave? That said to me that these characters are as real as they are for me, for my readers. Because this isn't a close friend. This wasn't a family friend. This is somebody who I met once, and we're LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn together, and yet he was writing me, talking about these characters like he knew them, and he was concerned for them, and so that made me feel really good.
I get, Karen, that you're invested in your characters. You are. I can tell.
I am. I love them.
Yeah.
Even my bad guys, I like. I care about them. I don't
Yeah.
like them, but I really care about them. Yeah.
Excellent. When did Justice for Emerson come out?
Last year.
Last year. Okay.
I've been doing a book a year.
Book a year.
There was a break when getting the first version of Getting It Right came out in 2017, and then it took me quite some time before Tangled Lies came out. But then ever since Tangled Lies, it's been a book every year. Oh, and that's something for your writers if they're still
Yeah.
watching. So Tangled Lies, I got so many rejections. So many rejections. And I got discouraged. And my son said to me, "Mom, it's a great book. Just put on your big girl pants. Set a goal of 100 rejections. Just keep going. Don't, like, every time you get a rejection, go feel bad and then you don't send it out again for 3 more months. Just keep." And so number 79, I got a yes. Right? So 78 rejections, 79, I got a yes.
Wow.
The book came out 1 year later, because it takes about a year, by the time you get a contract and then all that happens to a book before it comes out. So it took about a year, and Tangled Lies came out that following year from that yes. And as it came out, my publisher contacted me and said, "Do you have another one?"
Wow.
So it went from 78 rejections to, "Do you have another book?"
Wow.
Well, yes, I do. I happen to have one. And so then Reckonings came out, and then
Okay.
True Grace came out, and then just 1 year
Wow.
each year. And so don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. And my first book came out when I was 69. I'm 78 years old now, but according to AARP, I'm really 66.
Yay.
But I'm 78 years old now. And another book is coming out. You're not too old. You're not too young. You're not too anything. You're
Right.
enough. You're enough.
Yeah. Beautiful. It's amazing. Karen, talk about your website. I want to send everybody there. It's a great website. It's beautiful. Yeah. Let's send everybody there, and I have a question to kind of wrap us up today, but talk us through the website quickly before we go.
Okay. So on the website, you'll find all of the interviews, right, on my podcast. So everyone, and if you put in the search, you just want a genre, you just type it in, and those interviews will come up. Also, there's all information about all of my books, and then there's information about where you can hear me, what podcast, where I'm gonna be, signing, book events, and stuff. And then there's a way to be in touch and sign up. And I send out a newsletter once a month. I don't bug you, and I put, interesting books. It's not just all about me. I make sure it's about books I'm reading and things like that. So that's the website.
Beautiful. Excellent. There's a lot for you in the works, a lot of stuff coming up down the road. I do like to leverage the name of my show with my guests as we kind of wrap up, living the next chapter. So for you, Karen, whether it's writing or something else, how are you, Karen, living your next chapter?
I'm running out of chapters, Dave. I'm 78, so I don't know how many more chapters I have left. But one of the things that I am working very hard at is getting all my stories out. Whatever those stories are, I'm trying to get them out before I run out of runway.
Right.
But meanwhile, we volunteer, all that kind of stuff. I have a very rich life. I have a rich, rich life. And my next chapter, I hope it'll be that my husband will still be with me. 58 years married.
Wow.
58 years married. And I just hope that we'll be together till the very end.
Good. Well, 58 years of training on him is that's a lot of time invested from you, right? Over 58 years. That's what my wife keeps telling me. I've invested too much at this point. I would never want to try to do this all over again. She's like, we're going to have to work on this. So yeah, you kind of have that happening too. I love that.
That's right. Go take care of yourself. Work out.
Excellent.
Take your vitamins.
Karen, thank you so much for what you do for the reading community, the author community, and your local community. You're a great example. I know you don't do that helping others for praise or admiration or anything, but it speaks to who you are as a person. So on behalf of your community, probably you don't get this often, but I can do it. Thank you for all that you do for your community. I think anybody that puts other people first has a special place on this planet, and we need more people like you. So, Karen, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me, Dave. It's been such a pleasure meeting you. This is our second very fun conversation.
See? There we go. I'll have you back. I will. Don't threaten me with a good time. I will have you back, Karen, because it's great to have time with you. Keep writing, keep sharing your journeys and your stories, and keep these characters alive. They really light you up. I can see it as you speak about them fondly. So thank you so much, Karen, for doing this.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, everybody, all information for everything, including Karen's amazing podcast, everything's included in the show notes. Please, when, not if, when you buy Karen's books, please leave a great review. Let people know why you love these characters, why you love these stories. Share something that's personal to you about what happened in the story for you as a reader, so that other people will read these reviews and also respond and support Karen as an author as well. That's something we can all do as readers. So please leave great reviews. Karen E. Osborne, thank you so much for being on the show. Glad to have you here. Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. Glad to have you here. I just want to let you know that you can always find out what we're doing live in the moment by going to our YouTube channel. Head over to livingthenextchapter.com. There'll be a link right there. Head over to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things that all the YouTubers love to say. And in our YouTube channel, a couple things. You're going to get advanced listens. You're going to get the episodes that we're working on in real time. So we record and post daily on our YouTube channel. I'd love for you to give us a follow over there. As well, we're making playlists. We have over 500 episodes. So finding the right episode for you, we're trying to group things into playlists. So if you like children's books, if you like business, you like historical fiction, we're grouping our authors together to make it a little easier for you to find your favorite next author. So head over to livingthenextchapter.com. And again, I'd love to hear from you. Hearing from the listeners of the show is great. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of the podcast family. And I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time and your listen. Take care.